flops. And now we've arrived at the battle of the box office flops. No, seriously. This weekend's fierce battle at the box office featured 2 certified flops and a newcomer, which was a coming-of-age comedy, and of course an animated feature that sets its own rules. But leave it to Jennifer Lawrence's raunchy turn to actually spell some serious trouble for some superheroes. As Elemental defines failure for Pixar, and as The Flash dashes all hope for Warner, can a lower-budget comedy succeed in the age where Zoomers are just a little bit too touchy to even laugh? Let's dive into this weekend's box office and see if we have any answers there. Here we go. First of all, a huge thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you for your generous support in many ways, including your valuable subscription. We've crossed over 7,200 subscribers on our way to 10K, and I just have to say thank you. Now, we're going to start out with the obligatory dad joke. Oh, please, God, no! Which I know you all enjoy. Right, Grant?
What the hell kind of question is that?
What did Jennifer Lawrence say to the superheroes after a weekend where she gave them quite a surprising run for their money? I hope you fellas have no hard feelings.
Bad joke. Bad joke.
Oh, come on. Grant, seriously, gotta punch these up, dude. Come on. All right, not the best there. I could hear you sighing, but look, the predictions were all over the place for this weekend. There were people saying that everything's going to be a dead heat, and they were actually more right than wrong. Each film had overwhelming weaknesses to overcome and very few strengths. Well, in fact, I don't think a lot of them had any strengths. But Spider-Verse still had momentum swinging its way into and through theaters. Miles Morales from Sony still maintained a huge number of screens. In fact, one of the biggest group of screens is still controlled by that animated feature. It was actually on 3,785 total screens just domestically, and globally it's still doing pretty well as well. That level of support in theaters kept it seemingly at the top with a $19 million domestic take. Now, Elemental, on the other hand, continued to disappoint, a sluggish 18 million from 4,035 screens. It had a very low per screen average, lagging behind the R-rated comedy, which we're going to be getting to in just a moment. This failure of a film will only add to the talk about combining all Disney animation under one roof and laying off tons more folks at Pixar. In fact, you can almost expect it now. In fact, that decision could be fast-tracked at this point when you compare the performance of Elemental against, well, Bud Light. No, I mean, light beer. No, I mean, Lightyear. Yes, seriously, what a terrible start here. Bad reviews, bad word of mouth, and a growing concern that families can no longer trust Disney. They don't want to have anything to do with them. This film was never going to do well. It didn't have a lot of positive buzz, and a lot of people say it didn't have a lot of advertising. It's definitely lagging behind Lightyear's domestic performance by almost 25 million domestically through its second Sunday numbers. And by next weekend, this film will officially be declared dead, if it hasn't been already, which I think I called it dead when it opened. You're looking at another $150 million that Disney just flushed down the drain via their woke bomb factory. And now we move on. We're going to talk about the dashed hopes of The Flash, which sped off a cliff at a rate that stuns so many industry analysts, me included. It fell 72%, maybe as much as 74% when all the estimates are in, and it really does show that DC's relevance is now non-existent. It's possible that this film is a mere harbinger of doom for the next 2 DC films, which are going to come out later this year, and perhaps a very, very scary indicator of a bumpy road for Gunn's rebooted venture. I would imagine there's going to be some very serious second thoughts when it comes to some of the choices that have been made for Gunn's rebooted universe. What's even worse is the fact that Flash is still sitting on over 4,200 screens in the United States alone. It's got an average screen, it's got an average per screen number of $3,587. That is not good in a film that, well, is supposed to be the best superhero film of all time.
Absolutely not.
It is giving it a total estimated weekend revenue of a minuscule $2 million. It If it stays there, it may eke out a third place finish, which I don't see how. And finally, we get to the real surprise. No Hard Feelings, which I actually would say has already exceeded a lot of people's expectations. In fact, it may pull out a weekend surprise upset over the third and second place film. It could actually find itself in second place if it's able to pull out a pretty commanding Sunday. And it's only on 3,200 screens, so it's delivering a solid-ish number at 15.1 million, just behind Flash, which is just behind Elemental. That's impressive. I will say that they tried really hard at a coming-of-age comedy film here. It's reminiscent of the late 80s, early 90s films that I actually loved. In fact, I did a review. It's right here. You can go check that out if you're interested. I suggest you do. If you're interested in finding out if you should see a film. And regardless of that, the stunning thing to me is just how close all of these films are in terms of box office earnings in what is likely to be another record-setting low weekend. It's kind of a little scary. The top 5 films combined are raking in less than $100 million, and that's rough. What's also strange is that with a big performance on Sunday, as I mentioned, No Hard Feelings, a hard R comedy film, could find itself in the second spot, as I mentioned before. Things are really odd, to say the least, but not as odd as a lot of the trades and Disney itself not coming to grips with the idea that The Little Mermaid is not quite half of what Aladdin's global earnings were 5 weeks into its run. In fact, it's running considerably behind both domestically and globally, particularly globally. And of course, starting next week, it's going to start losing a substantial number of screens because you have more films entering the marketplace. Now, a flop of epic levels at this point, I would say that many of us here in this sphere predicted that Mermaid was going to have a very difficult go. That's going to make Guardians of the Galaxy the solo profit maker this year for the entire Disney slate. And it doesn't matter what nameplate they've slapped on it. Disney is definitely in big trouble. Huge. And I think Warner is as well. Wonder between those two giants who blinks first. Anyway, what do you think? Was this the most disappointing box office on record, or at least one that you could think back to? Did you have any interest in any of these films, any of the ones I listed off that are in the top 5? And have you seen No Hard Feelings or my review about it yet? Okay, that was a little self-serving, but hey, I saw a movie, so you didn't have to. And I might save you a little bit of time. But hey, let me know in the comments below just exactly what you think about the box office or any of these films if you've happened to have seen them. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.